agus Fáilte Chlór Community Focus. Hello and welcome to the Community Focus programme. This programme is sponsored by Eason's of Main Street Cavan and Pear Street Mullingar. This programme highlights the work of community groups in County Cavan and the contribution that they make locally. If you would like to comment on the show or have your community initiative or issue featured, please email drumlinmedia@gmail.com or contact us via our Facebook or Twitter pages. This show is live on the internet and on Smith's Cablevision in Cavan Town every Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. This evening's show will feature the work of the St Vincent de Paul Housing Conference, and later we will be talking to Geraldine and students from mainland Europe regarding their stay in Cavan on an EU Leonardo da Vinci funded programme. My first guest of the evening is Johnny O'Hanlon from the St Vincent de Paul Housing Conference charity in Cavan Town. St Vincent de Paul is Cavan's largest voluntary charitable organisation with a membership of 10,500 volunteers throughout the country, working for social justice and the creation of a more caring nation. Johnny, you're very welcome here this evening and thank you very much for coming in to us today.
Thank you, Laura.
First of all, you're part of the housing conference, so you said it's one of 4 conferences of the St Vincent de Paul in County Cavan. What are the others then?
That's right, the housing conference is St Joseph's Conference. We have the Night Shelter Conference, which is St Peter's, and then there's St Patrick's Conference, which is a large conference that looks after a lot of the cash needs and fuel needs of people and sort of does the day-to-day immediate needs of a lot of people. And then there's Our Lady of the Wayside, which is a conference for the traveller community.
Very good. And with the housing conference, what kind of work do you do? Are you providing housing units for people in need?
Yes, I mean we have over the years the St Joseph's Housing Conference was formed back in 2003 because at that stage it was identified that there was a need for, in fact it had been identified long before that. We're really an offshoot of St Peter's Conference, which is the Night Shelter Conference. And that conference had already established that there was a need for housing, for social housing, and had built our first block of units, which was at St Clair's Gardens. It was then decided, because the social housing need was growing, to dedicate a single conference to look after the housing needs, and thus the formation of St Joseph's. So we currently have 3 blocks of apartments around town. We have the original block, which is St Clair's Gardens. We have another block down in River Street called Suvenus, and we have another block just across the river from that in Waterside, a block of single apartments which is known as Waterside. Now that block of apartments is actually is a 2nd-storey block of apartments behind the Vincent's shop. And the housing conference also looks after or manages the Vincent's shop, which is a very important source of revenue for the housing conference.
So that's the shop where it's a charity shop, we're asking people to donate used clothes or clothes that they just have grown out of or no longer interested in wearing, or duvets, curtains, that sort of thing as well, isn't it?
Well, we don't do the duvets or the curtains, but we certainly do clothing, and we're very fortunate in Cavan that we have the success of the shop is based on the level of donations that we get in. And we're lucky in Cavan that the people recognise the value of the shop, recognise that there is a value on their clothes that they no longer wish to have, but clothes that are not worn out or anything like that, and they have a value. And
would you find out there's a lot of other charity shops or people looking at clothing banks and that? Is that kind of taking from?
It is, yeah. There's a lot of competition in the clothes business at the moment, and there's actually a lot of clothing being gathered around Ireland, and it's actually been exported to emerging countries, and we do have to compete against that, and we're not compete in the sense that we're very reliant on people donating the clothes free of charge, and in turn we make a very small charge for the close, but notwithstanding that, that revenue is critical to the running of our housing unit. And actually throughout Ireland there are about 153 Vincent's charity shops. The majority of them are clothes shops. There are some that are actually furniture shops, and they contribute very significantly to the revenues of Vincent de Paul and are a very important part of the overall income.
Would you have a lot of volunteers working in the shops?
Again, we're blessed in Cavan. We have a lot of volunteers, and we also have the assistance of CE workers as well, and then we have one full-time manager as well. And we simply couldn't run the shop without that, you know. So as I say, we are very lucky and we're very grateful for all the donations we get, and we would hope that people will continue to give their donations to St Vincent de Paul.
You're there in Bridge Street? In
Bridge Street, yes. There are other shops, and there are other shops that are claiming to be charity shops. Some of them are partially charity shops, some aren't. We are 100% charity.
I think there's those bags as well that are sometimes have been delivered to houses that the number wasn't a registered charity, and people were given thinking that they were given to charity with a lot of those bags, and it's not registered charities.
And we would ask people just to think long and hard when they are getting rid of clothing that's, you know, worthy of being sold on. We would ask them to seriously look at what shops they're putting them into. And we can certainly guarantee that from St Vincent de Paul's point of view that their clothes are gratefully received, and they're displayed in our shop and sold there, and that actually those funds go to local charity. So we can guarantee that.
So all the money then that you raise in the housing conference between the shop and that all kept locally?
Yes.
Yeah. Spent locally. That's very good.
And spent locally, yes. Yeah.
And in determining who, like you said, you had already established, you know, through the other conference that there was actually need for housing units in County Cavan. How do you determine who gets the houses, or do people come to you, or is there a referral system from?
People come to us. There is a referral system. Like there are an awful lot of people on the housing list, on the urban council and the county council housing lists. And there's a point system as to how people get, you move up the point system to get finally allocated a house. Sometimes the council will refer people to us who they're unable to house for various reasons, that maybe these people haven't acquired enough points and are in urgent need of housing. Sometimes people come in off the street themselves discreetly to us to say that they have problems. Quite a few of them are of short-term nature, and our tenants, we can have tenants that can stay for 3-4 months, up to much longer term tenants. So we have a mix of tenants within our housing. We would have some quite elderly who've been with us for a number of years and who are most unlikely to move on at this stage.
But there's no pressure on people to move on then?
No. But people must be on the council housing list. Okay. And in receipt of rent allowance.
So they're kind of the two criteria?
They're kind of the criteria.
Okay. And do people pay a rent then for them?
Well, they do. They pay a small rent. I mean, once they get rent allowance, there's a small rent allowance, but it's a nominal rent. And the other referral agencies would be, obviously, we would have, say, the clergy in the parish would often refer people to us as well, you know. So that's really how it works.
And how did you go about actually getting these houses and the cost of the houses initially? Did you get funding for that?
Yes, we did. At the time, that funding's all gone now, and it's ceased, you know, with the new environment we live in now.
Yeah, so you just got in at the right time then?
We did. We got the Irish Council for Social Housing would be sort of the cornerstone of social housing in terms of raising funds. We're a registered charity, and we would have applied to the Department of the Environment for funding to build the units, and the Department of the Environment then assess our capability to deliver, and we make the application. We work with we acquire the site, and, if you like, project manage the whole project, and that's overseen by the housing departments within the county councils. and that's how it works. So we would have been at one stage we would have been up to 90% funded by the government, and we would raise the other 10%.
And how generally would you go about raising the money? I know that some may come through the shop, but what other sources?
Well, now that we have sort of an income stream from the shop, and then we would have an income stream from our rents, that's how we would manage to run the housing units. But clearly the shop income is hugely important to us.
So your conference doesn't really have to do any other type of fundraising?
Well, we do get donations.
As well, yeah.
As well. Now, just to be clear, that's the way the housing conference works. But obviously, the other conferences are in need
absolutely
of cash. And I know St Patrick's is absolutely out the door with requests.
Well, I actually read that. Yeah, I know the St Vincent de Paul released a press release last week.
Yes.
Saying that calls to St Vincent de Paul had increased nationally by 80% since 2009. So, since the recession came in, even it's growing each year. How are the other conferences? Maybe I know you can't really speak for them, but I'm sure you have, an awareness of how maybe they're dealing with.
Yeah, well, the other conferences again. I mean, they St Patrick's would run. They do an annual collection at Christmas, which is hugely important to them, and that would be one of their major fundraisers during the year. And then obviously they're reliant on donations, and people again are very good, and we do on occasion get bequests. And we get quite a lot of donations, and once again the people of County Cavan are super in terms of looking after St Vincent de Paul, and that's really how those funds are raised. But I would love you to get somebody from St Patrick's in to talk in more detail, because they do a huge amount of work, and they're really at the coalface when it comes to dealing with people who have really hard pressed on a day-to-day basis.
We must, absolutely, because I think they're in quite difficult times now. I'm sure their demand has been increased, and people have less money to maybe give to charity as well.
That's right.
And there's a lot of groups looking for donations and contributions now as well. And I think to highlight the good work that you're actually doing as well is very important.
Yeah, again, our regional, the structure of Vincent de Paul is that we're within a region, and our regional office does assist on occasion, and the regional office in turn gets funding from the national office. So I know that in St Patrick's case, they are probably going to have to be calling on funds from outside the region to assist with the work that they are doing. The resources are so stretched at this time, So it is very difficult out there for a lot of people, and there's a new category of poor,
and probably people who are less maybe likely to look for help.
Absolutely, and there's quite a lot of that, and I would just say that people who are struggling can be assured that in contacting St Vincent de Paul, all cases are treated very confidentially and very discreetly.
That's brilliant. I think there's a lot of, between the four conferences, there's a lot of fantastic work going on with the St Vincent de Paul, and great services locally, and it's important that people do recognise that and contribute to it. Yeah,
well, I think to be fair, the people of County Cavan do recognise the value of St Vincent de Paul, and that's been reflected, as I say, in their support, in their donations, and in the various collections, and then in the case of St Joseph's Conference in terms of the level of support they give us with clothing donations. And just wearing the hat for St Joseph's Conference, if you like, I would urge people to give serious consideration if they're discarding clothes to put us well up on the priority list if they would.
Yeah,
and as I say, I can guarantee that they are genuinely, the clothes are very much appreciated and are sold locally for a local cause.
So they can just bring bags in and boxes into the shop, and they're...
That's right, and what we do is we sort the clothes. Now clearly there's always a small element of those clothes that may not be suitable for selling in the shop, but then we can recycle those as well, and we do get a small level of revenue for doing that as well.
Okay, is that the thing with the weight? The clothes are sold by weight, isn't
yes,
it?
yeah. And and we have an outlet for those as well.
Well, look, I'm sure the clothes have to be in saleable condition.
They do. They have to be in saleable condition, but sometimes you
Easily.
can get clothes that come in and while they're clean and all the rest of it, they may be well worn and maybe just not just fit for, if you like, hanging on a rail in a shop.
So
But
you
they do have
can-
a value in terms
Okay.
of recycling.
So people can still bring worn clothes as well
Yes,
into the
yes,
shop, well
absolutely.
worn, and you can still
Yeah.
generate some.
And we can generate some
income
revenue from that. Absolutely, yeah.
And is there anything else then in the shop that you take? Do you take books and
We do, and we take bric-a-brac.
there's bags as well there,
yeah,
isn't there?
We try to steer away from shoes. We do take them when we can get rid of them, but it's at no value to us. But we do take them. We don't take electrical items, and we don't take duvets and towels and those sort of things. But you know, just the clothes that we walk around in are really what we're most interested in. Summer, winter clothes, whatever, children's clothes, ladies, gents, and it is remarkable the number of people that are coming into our shop. There's lots of people who are fashion conscious and are looking for retro clothes and all the rest of it. And then there are people coming in getting perfectly good jeans for their children and getting shirts and jackets.
You get designer labels, and
get
there's
designer
people
labels,
are
absolutely.
fresh with, and
Yeah.
a lot of people say
We
that.
actually, we actually have what we call an elegance label within the shop, which is, you know, top designer labels that are given us. We put those on an elegance label. We charge a little more for them. It's not a lot more, and there is super value there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I want people to go on into the shop in there, and also to bring
Yeah.
some clothes and unwanted clothes in there.
Thank Vincent's.
Absolutely. Listen, Johnny, we'll leave it there. Thanks a million for coming in. We really appreciate it. For giving up your time this evening. And I look forward. We'll definitely be interested in getting the other 3 conferences onto Talk Air, and might get you back in again at a later stage, maybe next year or that.
Yeah, I'd be delighted.
Listen,
Yeah.
thanks a million, Johnny.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Laura.
Now we'll have a short ad break. In studio with me now are Geraldine MacDonald and 2 students, Sandra Nicole from Germany, who are on an EU-funded Leonardo da Vinci programme. Girls, you're very welcome here this evening.
Thank you. Hi, thank you.
Geraldine, I may start with you. You're sort of involved in organising the host families.
That's correct. It's a new project I'm trying to develop. It's called Irish Host Families, and the idea behind it is in conjunction with different agencies. In this case, it's with the Cavan Institute and the Leonardo da Vinci project, which basically funds the ladies here, for instance, to come over and they work in work experiences in the town of Cavan, and then they stay in local houses and they get full 100% immersion in the English language, and that's the idea behind it. And that is just one of the projects that I'm involved in. But I'm trying to kind of develop that into other things, to bring other people over from different countries even to do kind of homestay in Cavan, which will add to you know, it's a revenue stream for the local community. So that's what I'm doing.
Homestay may not always be on work experience programs. It could be just on an exchange program.
Yeah, depending on the agencies that I link up with. You know, it could be like to go to school here. It could be just to come for even summer school here. There's lots of different things. Like there's lots of other people doing it besides me. I'm just just decided this is just what I'm at the moment. But there's other people doing different projects, but it's all to do with homestay and bringing foreign language into Cavan.
How did you are you only after getting involved in it recently?
No, well, I've always from the time I kind of, I suppose, got married, we've always kind of kept students. You know, there was lots of different people did it in Cavan before me, and I always enjoyed it because I enjoy meeting new people, and I've had nearly 100% nice people come to my home, and it's a wonderful way. And also as my children grew up, it was good for them too, because they got to see people from different cultures.
Absolutely,
made them much more open to different languages. My son actually went out with one of the Spanish students who stayed there, you know, and he got to Spain, and you know, it's a lovely positive experience, and I just think it's something I enjoy.
So what do you think are the benefits then to the host family?
Well, first of all, I suppose it's a nice, you know, you will get paid for keeping a student. It depending, the girls are here for a month, 4 weeks, and then they're out during the day and they stay with the host family then at the weekends and at night, obviously. The benefits, it's just, if you enjoy people and meeting new people, it's a wonderful experience. And it suits people who don't actually have a family themselves, because sometimes it gives them the experience of having other people in the house. It's
so
all
you learn a lot from other people's cultures.
You do,
don't
absolutely,
you, as well?
yeah. And it's good. It's just nice sometimes to look after other people and show them what Ireland's about, and promote Ireland abroad by having people in your home.
You're doing your bit for Falch Ireland.
There you are. Yes.
And Sandra, Nicole, if I can go to you then and maybe ask you what I suppose you're both staying with host family.
Yeah.
So would you prefer to be staying with the host family, or would you rather be in a hotel or hostel? Or what benefits is staying with the host family over staying in a hotel?
I'd say it's always better to stay actually with a host family, because if you're just here and then you go back to a hotel or something, you're actually like kind of cut off all the life that is going on outside, because of course you meet new people at work, but it's still like they're your colleagues, not your friends, so you don't have anyone to actually really talk to if you go somewhere else and you want to learn another language. But if you're staying with a host family, you get also all the cultural aspects, and you actually have to talk to them, and there's always someone, like if you need help, you know, you can go and talk to them and stuff. And I mean, yeah, like even if you just want to say good night or I'm hungry or something, you know, you actually have to use the language that you've learned.
So you definitely use the English language more.
As total immersion is basically what it's about. And it's ideal, I think, really for people like Sandra and Nicole are in employment in Germany, and so they're not in a college situation, so they come out and, you know, it's a much more beneficial way, I think, of learning English, and I promote it. I think for us also learning other languages, you do need to go and immerse yourself completely in the culture and the language, because you know, the words are fine and you might understand what the words mean, but the context and also funny kind of mannerisms and ways you'd say things, you know.
And that's what you get in a family, you know. You don't have to be actually shy in a family, like maybe asking weird questions, whereas at work you might not be able to actually ask if you just don't understand some sayings or whatever. You can't really like go and say, yeah, can I actually say that, you know? But in the host family, you just go, like, I don't know, ask maybe the kids or something, and then...
And what would you say are the main differences in working here and working in Germany? Do you see any main differences in the work environment?
Well, Nicole always says, or I think so too. It's really funny. Like everyone is talking about the ish kind. You know, we'll meet 8ish, be at work 9ish kind of. You know, in Germany it's just more punctual. If they say be there at 9, you're gonna be there like 8:55. You know, not just 9. So yeah, just more laid back. And if you're 10 minutes late, that's fine. If you're 15 minutes late, all right, we work something out. You know, kind of.
So you can make it up in some other way.
Yeah, right.
And Nicole, you're just lucky where you are.
No, probably.
Nicole, what area in Germany are you both from? You're both from the one area, aren't you?
We are from the East Germany. Yeah.
And what's the town, is it?
Halle.
Halle.
It's in the near of Leipzig.
What's near Leipzig?
Yeah.
Very good. And you have people watching there, do you, this evening?
Yeah, my boyfriend is actually watching, yeah. Hopefully he still is awake.
And you have your present for him, don't you?
It looks something like this.
Get the t-shirt.
So you'll be promoting Cavan when you go
Oh,
back
absolutely.
home. And Sandra, has Ireland lived up to your expectations?
It really has, yeah.
Yeah? It's exactly as you thought it would be.
Yeah, really green and a lot of sheep. I love it.
You like all the sheep, the big greenery.
Yeah. I think she has some kind of magnetism for sheep, because we have never had sheep around our house ever. And Sandra was in our house for about 2 or 3 days, and then suddenly I could hear bah, bah. I looked out the window and there was a field beside us covered in sheep. So Sandra's having a great old time.
Yes, nice.
Bringing them in there. Very good. Journey, how are you sourcing the host families at the moment?
Well, I suppose it's like everything. It's grown organically, because originally it would have been friends and family, people I trusted, because it's something very, it's a big responsibility to bring people together like the way we're doing it. But I'm finding as I grow it, it's people that I know and trust, and people that who would have experienced having people in their homes. It's very helpful if the people have had, say, students prior to doing this. And it's really word of mouth, and you meet the people, you can get a sense of how the person's going to be, you know.
Yeah, well, obviously you need the relationship to work both ways.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm there as a complete mediator. If there's any problems, I'm the person who'll solve them. Like, for instance, you know, if something doesn't work out with work experiences or anything like that, I'll mediate between the employer and the student and get them sorted out.
And source new work experience.
Exactly. And I found the employers of Cavan to be fantastic. They're so agreeable, you know. They really are. People are so good. We don't realise the asset of this town and the people in it. We're a great community.
So you haven't really as such maybe had many problems in host families as yet, or with employers?
It's like everything else. If there has been an issue, it's been dealt with. And people are great. You know, it's goodwill all round, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good that there is somebody that, if somebody's interested in getting into this,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
that they...
But that's it. You know, you couldn't do it as a like on your own, because it's just, you just don't know what the and also when you do it through a project like the Leonardo project, they will sort out like insurances and all of that kind of thing, you know. So all of that is involved.
Sandra, Nicole, maybe if I go back to you again then and ask you what experiences will you take back home from this? You know, what would your greatest experiences or memories be from it?
Well, probably the really like friendliness of the people here. Probably I just have the feeling they're just kind of more open-minded towards new people, new things, and also just having fun kind of, and like, I don't know, just really the laid back way people are, and really friendly, and it's just different than it is in Germany, really.
And have you sampled any of the social life here and how that differs from Germany?
Social
life, yeah.
No, it's actually quite the same, maybe.
More or less the same, yeah.
weekends going out having fun.
Yeah.
The same.
Well, no, Martin Donoghue on a Wednesday night in Farnham is not the same.
That's true. That's true. But the farming was fun though.
Yes, exactly. That's what I mean.
Very good. And what about you, Nicole? What would you take back to Germany with you? What did you think?
I'm a little bit better in to speak the language, English.
So you're happier speaking English now than you were, yeah.
I think that's the biggest point, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's we found as well, being within the family environment has
Yes,
probably helped your language the most, yeah.
Speak to them. Yeah.
I think you learn so much more from being around a language, don't you, rather than a year in a classroom.
Yeah.
You know, when you're really immersed in the language,
Exactly.
it's either sink or swim. You have to use it to survive.
That's it. Exactly.
And have you a number, Geraldine, of families who are already registered with you? And
I do. Yeah, I have probably about 7 or 8 families at the moment, and at the moment that's kind of I don't mind people registering with me, but until I build up my network and have a nice kind of a trust relationship with the people who will be sending me students, I have nothing imminent, but I'm hoping to build on it.
So you've to build up, kind of get to know people on both sides.
That's correct. Yeah, it's quite a job of just building up trust. Kind of a network of people you trust and legitimate providers of students and whatnot. You have to kind of make sure everything's all okay. Before you start bringing people into the country. It's not a case of doing that.
And you've got a whole new name for this type of stay, don't you?
Yes, what would we call it now?
Workation.
A workation.
Yes. Because it's good fun, but you
Yeah.
do get to do some work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So people can register their interest in coming to you for a workation.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly.
So if people were interested in getting involved in host families, can they contact you to register their interest at the moment?
They could.
But they're just not guaranteed that there will actually be a student available?
At the moment, no. I don't have anything at the minute. Yeah. But it's just the project is going on, and it's no harm for people to know that it's happening, because obviously you need people to make it work.
Absolutely.
And the college have been very good in regard to Catherine Fox, and the college has been great in regard to setting up all of these things. She's got great experience in it, and she's a driver behind it.
Absolutely. That's brilliant. Listen, girls, thanks a million. I hope you've really enjoyed your stay in Ireland, have you?
We do, yeah.
And you'll be back promoting Cavan, of course, in Germany.
Absolutely.
With your t-shirts.
Yeah, with the t-shirts.
Very good. Listen, I really appreciate your time for coming in today, and thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sin Jera an Clár, community focus ar cavantv.com. By Mayor Rasharit, Ducading Shahugging ar Hug the Clog. That brings to an end tonight's community focus show on cavantv.com. I'll be back again next Wednesday evening at the same time to give you more community related news on cavantv.com. A special thanks to everyone who contributed to the programme this evening: Johnny O'Hanlon from the St Vincent de Paul Housing Conference in County Cavan, and Geraldine and Nicole and Sandra from the EU-funded Leonardo da Vinci programme. Don't forget, there's loads on in County Cavan this bank holiday weekend. 3 of the events that we recently featured on the programme are happening over this weekend: the County Fla in Killashandra, the Charity Excavator Challenge in Ballyconnell, and the Virginia 400 painting competition. So combined with the good weather we've been promised, there's no excuse for staying in. We hope you enjoyed the programme and enjoy the bank holiday weekend. Until next Wednesday, slán.